And I felt I'm not going to do my name because I just want to do this all out for my heart. I don't want anyone to come to me and say, "Oh, I did this and that." I just want to do it from the sincerity of my heart. And of course, I had the intention to sell, and I was only able to sell 8 copies. My manner was animated, and after the exam, I realized that I think the first chapter was almost answering the first question of the exam. And after the exam, I saw students coming to meet me. I said, "I mean, thank you, I mean, thank you." Because I did not buy material for me. But that's not what I'm doing. And this is a lesson for students, every student here. I was scheduled to have an interview with a multinational. And multinational companies would not really ask you more about your knowledge, particularly when you are a little bit above graduate or entry level. They want to know your level of aptitude, your ability to do things. So they asked me, "Can you tell us something impactful about?" And I started this story. And when I got to the point where I said, when I went back to my university a year later, I met a junior for me and told her that they just speaking and discussing, and she said that, "Oh, investment banking, you had issues with that, but thanks to one material, you're able to do well." And I said, "Let me see the material." Lo and behold, it was the material I worked on. When I was explaining this in the interview, the managers almost told us to give a standing ovation. In fact, we wanted to be partners in that very moment. And I think this is a very clear example of leadership. Being selfless, lessons learned, that aptitude, right? And a passion to always learn, I think, will define the future of ethical leadership in 21st century leadership. And beyond the sky is just a minute. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. I mean, if everybody knows anything, that story is a lot to learn from. Because I mean, being somewhere and then impacting where you are goes a long way. And I like how we summed up ethics to moral. It's important thing in leadership. You can be a president and you just be a president that is there for maybe the status or just be there because you just like that's what you want to do there. And it makes sense that you are somewhere and you are able to, leave a mark of you after you be there. And then again, you see how far you're able to do certainly. And you mentioned that I'm interviewing with the international. How many people here have something exceptional to mention apart from your academic knowledge and your journey in academic life? There's a lot to take in, and thank you very much, Mr. David. I'm coming to have a very special question for you. Okay, so Ms. Chimoso or Mrs. Chimoso? Okay, Mrs. Chimoso. My question for you is, why should young people be involved in leadership, tackling at least one sustainable development goal, and how can they be done effectively? So I'll take it again. Why should young people be involved in leadership, tackling at least one sustainable development goal, and how can this be done effectively?
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. All protocols will be observed, and also must add my voice to say we did the one to because I remember when we shared this vision with us last year, and just seeing it come alive. And I think that is what we're doing. Well done, Toby. And to the question, why young people should be involved in this, and this is it. That was a master class. Thank you so much. Thank you. A round of applause for everyone. Yes. So I'll just go right on ahead to answer the question. According to reports, what the UN and other bodies look at the World Economic Foundation, by 2030, Africa will have the most youth population, with Nigeria leading the charge across the world. So what that means is that we have so much potential on the continent of Africa and so much potential out of Nigeria. How can we ensure that we harness the potential that we have, as a people, which means that we all have to hard work or investing in ourselves. Investing in ourselves requires personal leadership. And that's why the subject of leadership must not be limited to just occupying positions, but actually starting from us as individuals, especially as young people, say, right, I've been placed for that. Mrs. A spoke about purposeful leadership. In the 21st century, one thing that we need now to solve the problems that we have all across the world, especially in Nigeria, the social justice problems we have, the problem of poverty, and all the problems plaguing our socio-economic development. It requires each one of us to reach deep within ourselves, to look at the solutions that we will have, because of course, every single person who has a place of life, we have a purpose. And I'm so excited that we're talking to young people today. You have a purpose, and conversations like this help you with the knowledge required to reach deep within you, to sit down with yourself and ask, what is the answer? What is the unique answer that I carry from my world today? And on that journey of having that conversation, you begin to unearth, the unique qualities that you carry to contribute, right, to influencing our world. And that's what leadership is about. When you speak, this is Gabriel's definition. Investing, making an impact, and ensuring that you're not just sitting in a position and not doing anything, in the position or the influence that you have. But for us to be able to attain those places of influence, for us to be able to contribute to the solutions, and contribute to the problems that we face, we've got to do that in our work. Ms. A spoke about the challenge of this generation. She spoke about, lackadaisical attitude. She spoke about character. And I want to touch on character because it's so important if we are going to solve the problems, the SDGs, poverty, decline in education, climate change that we're dealing with, decent work and economic growth. If we're even going to partner with other organizations towards the fulfillment of the SDGs, which is goal 17, then we have to do that hard work of developing our character. And that's something that our generation, this generation, the Gen Z, the millennials, the alphas, that's something that we have to consciously be intentional about. I love the fact that, my colleague here spoke about ethics and character, because in the long haul, it's character that will sustain you as a leader. It's character that will help you make impact. It's character that will help you build social capital, the social capital that you need to be able to address challenges. Because where we are now, we can't solve the problems, the social problems we face by ourselves. We've got to collaborate. And for us to collaborate, we've got to have a solid character that people can be willing to work with us. We've got to be punctual. For instance, it's at 10 a.m. But we've got to be punctual, have that in mind. Our attitude as young leaders, as young people, talk about our attitude. So these are some things that we need to be intentional about. And how can we grow these things? One, mentorship. Mr. A spoke about it. Conversations like this, presents you an opportunity to interact with people who have gone ahead of you. What do you do with this kind of conversation? You go back, to your personal space and begin to ask yourself, that work of introspection. I'll tell you a short personal story. Growing up, my dad was very intentional with how he brought us up. So from the age of 14, I was already reading John Maxwell's books. I was already reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I was already reading Zig Ziglar's books and all these books that help with developing yourself and your leadership capacity. Now from that age, I got into the university very early, actually at 14 as well. And my interaction with those materials helped me recognize the kind of person I wanted to become. And so from there, I knew that I wanted to make an impact. I knew that I wanted to solve the problem of poverty. I knew that I wanted to contribute to education. So I'd seen my dad, who is an educationist as well, own different schools. I'd seen what he had done with different children. I'd seen how he had built roads. I'd seen how he had impacted his community. And it really inspired me to say, I want to be this kind of person. What did I do? I sat down, I wrote it out, maybe at 15, I wrote out what I wanted to do with my life. I wrote out who I wanted to be known for, what I wanted to be known as a woman who gave people opportunity. And that has guided my decision since my going to university over 20 years ago. All the works that I've done, the thousands of individuals that I've inspired and impacted across Africa, the skill empowerment center that our organization has set up, the work that I've done through for Good Africa, the work I've done through rehabilitating and educating people through Freedom Foundation, and through my career journey. I'm a lawyer as well, right? Through my career journey, this has informed me, has helped me in making the kind of decisions that propel me further on the vision that I see. So if you have a vision, it will help you on your journey of making decisions. And now is the best time. Now is the best time. So for you to be able to solve the problems that we have, you've got to, recognize mentors. And this opportunity, like I said, gives you that experience. And then of course you have to have a vision. You've got to have a vision. They spoke about having vision boards. I mean, that's why I said she was a masterclass today. Because everything that you need to be able to solve the problems, in our world issues, highlights to key principles, diligence as well, actually to talk about strategic alliances. One of the challenges that I also see, because I do a lot of mentorship for young people, I see that young people are not able to cultivate and sustain relationships. If you're going to go very far, if you're going to achieve the kind of impact that Zane has done, people like myself and our elders sitting here, if you're going to achieve that kind of impact, then you've got to be able to build and cultivate relationships for the long haul, right? Not just for what you can get out of it, because, for instance, in today's social media age, I get lots of messages, but I want to be like, I want to do this. And then when it comes to putting in the work, we can't find you. So it's important that you make up your mind. I'm going to be a person of character. I'm going to embody the ethics that my colleague has so graciously spoken about. And I will have a vision for my life. I'll be diligent as well with what I'm going to become, who I'm going to become, and the values. I'm going to embody these values. And humility. There's certain key requirements for today's 21st century leader if you're going to solve the problems that we face. One key thing for every single person, every single young person here today, you must tap into the resources that you carry and embody. Nigeria is waiting for you. Nobody else is going to build our country except the young people here. And that's why we're doing this work. That's why some of us have come all the way down here to inspire you, to encourage you, to let you know that you carry the answer to the problems that we have. And as long as you apply yourself with intentionality, you have a vision, surround yourself with the right people, strategic alliances, mentorship, networking, and putting in the work, then you can actually, solve some of the problems and then also, influence other people to solve the problems living and developing as people. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'd like us to ask ourselves just one very simple question. At age 15, what will you do? What have you done at age 15? What have you achieved at age 15? So that's very, very commendable. And as 15, I was probably doing all those things that challenges. I know you know about it. Anyway. So I spoke about intentionality. I feel like that is something that usually overlooked. People just do things strategically, but then being intentional about what you are doing goes a long way. And then again, building social capital. That's something that people overlook. I'm not sure why. Because social capital here in Nigeria is super important. I mean, we need connections to do actually every day. Driver's license, I do somebody. Want to pay this or I do somebody. Don't work with somebody. But then in the space where you have built your social capital, what do you leverage on? Depending on the economy and environment and ours in Nigeria. So that's super important and I'm very thankful for that. This is true. So Mr. Mohammed, it's time for us to speak. Okay. So how can we